Good morning, YouTube. I'm Chris. This is Wallet Sense. This is my channel where I help people with financial advice and how to budget, how to save money, how to invest. I'm not a financial advisor. I am someone who is in my 50s. I've raised a family. I have 4 kids. Many of them are in college or graduated. And over the years, I've learned simple is better, right? And I'm here to tell you that there is easy ways that you can start saving money today. So if you're interested in learning some simple strategies on how to save money without all these complexities and worrying about crypto and index or stocks or news or anything like that, just get all that out of your head. I'm going to try to help you with that. So tune in and let's get started. All right. So the number one thing about saving is you need to start now, right? So I'm going to talk about 2 different ways to save. And the first one is going to be about high yield savings accounts. So when we talk about high yield savings accounts, we're not talking about just a normal savings account that you get down at the corner bank, right? Those accounts are ridiculous. And we're going to go over that. And then the next thing we're going to talk about is investing in index funds. With these 2 options, you can basically use these to do all of. Now, you may have a retirement account or an IRA or some sort of pension. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where are we going to put our other money, like our after-tax money. That's what we're going to talk about today. All right, so high yield savings accounts. Now, today with the internet, it's so easy to set up high yield savings accounts. And you got things like Discover or Ally. There's a whole bunch of them. And I'm not affiliated with any of these, but I will endorse the ones that I've used, right? The ones that I know about. The key here is that you want to find accounts that don't have any fees and have almost 0 or no minimum balances. Those are the keys. And obviously they should be paying market rates. So it's February 2025 when I'm recording this video. And right now, market rates are around 3.75. That's where they are. And these rates fluctuate all the time. And your account will fluctuate as the rates go up and down. I've seen the rates go as high as 5%. Times a few years ago where we were getting like in high yield savings accounts. And these are super safe FDIC insured accounts. You don't have to worry about news or anything like that. You just put your money in there and you forget about it. All right, let's take a look at one of them right now. So, all right, so this is Discover, and this is a product that I use. Now, again, there's lots of other good products out there. I'm not saying that this is the only one. I like this one because there's no fees. Their online account access is super easy. And it's super easy for me to move money back and forth between my regular checking account, and which I have with a normal bank, and then my savings account whenever I need the money, right? But look at these rates. I'm paying 3.75. And if you look at these other competitors, they're not even paying 1%, right? They're a fraction, and they're charging all kinds of fees. All right, so you need to get your money out of there and get it into one of these high yield savings accounts. I don't care if you only have $100 or what the amount is. Don't want to leave your money sitting in these checking accounts whenever it's some kind of savings, right? So if you're building up an emergency fund, you're saving for, you're going to want to put it into one of these accounts. All right, great. All right, so the second way to save after you're doing your emergency fund is what we call low cost index funds. All right, now what these are is it's like a stock, but it's a stock that essentially is an index of a whole bunch of different stocks together. And it's much safer because not one of those stocks is going to be able to turn the whole thing down, right? So you're investing in a group of stocks, and they generally performs better than a typical stock. Now, I know you cousin Ed or whatever, you may have told you, buy this stock, it's going to blow up. Or you might have heard all these stories in the day. Oh, if you bought Apple at this price and all that. We're not talking about predicting the future here, okay? We're talking about tried and true, going to work. And that's where we're going to keep our money. And these index funds work. The stock market has always gone up over time, okay? There have been crashes and there have been depressions and things like that, sure. We're not worried about that. We're talking about long term. So after you have your emergency fund, then you're going to want to start talking about investing in low cost index funds. All right. They're great for long term growth. I have a few of the funds listed here. We're going to take a quick look at them online. Okay. All right. So my preference is Vanguard. Okay. The reason that I say that Vanguard is because the cost of these funds, look at this expense ratio. Okay. You go out and you buy a stock or you're using an investor, they're going to charge you a certain fee, right, for the transaction and for owning that stock. And Vanguard traditionally has the lowest income, lowest rates. Now, these are what we call Admiral shares. And the thing that's special about these shares is that you have to have this minimum balance, okay, which is $3,000. If you don't have that, say you only have $500 to invest right now, or your amount is, right, you can go to a traditional ETF, and the comparable one for this would be VTI. Okay. VTI doesn't have a minimum. Okay. It has a similar expense ratio, an index fund. It's basically the same thing, only it doesn't have the minimums. All right. And it's generally domestic stocks. It's just an index. Okay. You look at the performance, you could see the performance here. All right. Like just in the last year, it's done 26%, right? Now, is that traditional? No, that's not traditional. I mean, it's at 3%. You don't know what's going to happen. It could go down. Over time, it's going to go up. And depending on where you're at in your life, it's something that you could hold on to for a good amount of time. You're saving for your kids' college. Maybe you're saving a down payment for a house. You're saving for a retirement. People don't have access to a 401k, or some people have maxed out their 401k. People, whenever you're going to retire, you don't want to have everything locked up into 401k and everything. So we're not going to get too far into that, but you don't want to be locked up into that. Now, other options are bond. So if you're close to retirement or you're close to your savings goal, you can also look into bond index funds. And again, they have the no balance version and they have the Admiral version. Same thing, $3,000. Deciding how much stock and how much bonds really depends on your personal situation. If you're close to when you're going to use the money, then it might be time for you to diversify. And 50-50, let's say, would be a safe bet when you're talking about stocks and bonds. Sometimes just moving the money into your high yield savings account is the best option, because some of these high yield savings accounts actually will perform better than bonds. You just really need to look at the rates and make a decision. All right. So basically find the right mix based on where you're at in your life. Okay. If you're close to a goal like that, if you're close to retirement, it might be time to talk to a financial advisor. Definitely would recommend people, as they get closer to retirement, behooves you to talk to somebody who's an expert, right? But if you're early and you're saving, they're a great option. All right. So again, open a high yield savings account, build up your emergency fund. All right. Once you get to that point, you have a month, 2 months, 3 months of an emergency fund. That's going to be different for everybody depending on how much money you spend or your budget is. Then investing in these low cost index funds, and small amounts can make a difference. All right. Like you could start literally with $50 or 10. You could start putting away $10 or $20 a month, or a paycheck, or these little amounts over time make a big difference. Setting up a regular transfer, or better yet, if you get a paycheck, you can have money from your paycheck direct deposited into your high yield savings account. You can have multiple accounts for direct deposit. Almost every employer who supports direct deposit supports this sort of thing. So what I like to do is I have a portion of my check. It goes right into my savings account. I never see the money. It just goes in there. And now and then I'll log in, look at my savings account, and it's getting bigger, right? Because I'm consistently putting the money in there. And when it gets too large, I take some of that money and I move it over to the index funds. So don't wait. Start doing it today. Get an account, start putting a little bit of money in there, and it will build over time. The earlier you start, the better, right? So what are some of your tips? If you learned anything from this video, if you have any comments or feedback, would love to hear them. Put them down in the comments. Obviously, my channel is pretty new. If you look at my videos, and I'm really interested in what you have to say. If you like this video, I would love a like. If you want to subscribe and hear more about saving, getting out of debt, budgeting, those types of topics from somebody who lived it and has worked through some of these things, then I hope you subscribe, and I hope we will see you again in the next video.